Hey, good morning. Welcome to Connect Daily Bread, where we recognize man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Today we're getting started with the book of Galatians. And so here in Galatians, Paul's writing to the church in the region of Galatia. So there's a bunch of churches that are going to get this letter. It's going to be circulated. So think something like, a letter written to the church in Oklahoma. So it's going to be addressing a whole bunch of people, a bunch of churches that Barnabas and Paul were used to plant. And you see that back in Acts chapter 13 and 14. And so this letter, man, really, Paul is fuming. He's heated in this letter. He writes it in his own hand. We see that at the end. But man, he just really gets in and goes after it. And so what's going on here is that a group known as the Judaizers, we've discussed them before, they have gone there and stirred up the churches and put them into confusion with a false teaching. And that false teaching being that in order for non-Jewish believers in Jesus to really be put right in the family of God, they have to take on Jewish customs. Jewish customs such as circumcision seems to be the big one that they press and push for. Circumcision of the males, kosher diet, and Sabbath days. And so Paul is really heated, really bothered with this one. So go ahead and read chapter 1, and I'll just share some thoughts from it. So in the intro, it's really brief if you notice, and Paul gets to laying out where his authority comes from, that he is an apostle by the authority and the call of Jesus. And then verses 6 through 9, Paul says, I'm astonished that you've turned so quickly to another gospel. And in fact, that other message is not a gospel at all, right? Gospel meaning good news. And so messages contrary to the true gospel of Jesus are inherently bad news. They're very troublesome. And Paul goes on to say, man, if anyone came to you and gave you a gospel different than what I have given to you, may that person be under God's curse, whether that's angel or human being. Now, that's really interesting because there's several false religions that are rooted in the idea that after this letter, after the life resurrection of Jesus and the history of the early church in the book of Acts, that angels came to them or God himself came to them and gave different messages. So here Paul says, man, if anyone, anything gives you another message, may they be under God's curse. And that's really strong language. Literally saying, may they be cursed forever to hell. And so Paul goes on and he lays out that, again, his message, the gospel came from Jesus. It didn't come from humans. In fact, he goes on and he says that after he received his message from Jesus, and we get that right in Acts chapter 9, that it's 3 years before he goes and meets the other apostles, and that he began preaching right away the message that Jesus gave him. And we see that in the story in Acts 9. But 3 years later, he goes up and he meets Peter, known as Cephas as well. So he says he went up and met Cephas. He's there with him for about 15 days. And he only sees James, the brother of Jesus, at this time. And again, he lays out like, man, I didn't go there and get my message from them. I didn't get training from them. I'm called by Jesus himself. He gave me a grace to be the apostle to the Gentiles, inasmuch as Peter's an apostle to the non-Jews. And so he says, he kind of closes and he says, man, the churches at Judea, they didn't even really know me in that area, right, where Jerusalem's at. That would have been home base for Peter and James. And he says, those in that region, they didn't know me. They just knew that the guy who used to persecute the church is now preaching Jesus, and they praise God because of that. So that's chapter 1. We really are in for a meaty and transformative read if we will stick through the book of Galatians. And in it, we're going to see some things that will hopefully help us to cherish and take hold more and more of the beautiful gospel that Jesus has given us. So those are the things that stood out to me. Love you guys. Have a good one.